Hello, everyone. The spring has come. Yeah, no more snow, no more freezing air, ground, no more frost. I don't like winter because it's cold. Yeah, but spring is warm and summer is hot, and that's amazing. You know, yesterday I was trying to shoot a video, but it was windy. Like the camera was shaking, it wasn't really that great. And if I turn on the stabilization of the camera, like programmatically, it just I don't like how the codec behaves after it might be lagging on old TV, so it's not really a good thing to have that programmatic stabilization. But that's not the point, because yesterday when I just try to shoot like the set of the walking Qigong like I usually do, and I felt so nicely. It was also the weather was like today, maybe a bit colder, a bit cooler, but generally like very similar. And I was so happy. I didn't want to talk at all. I was like, oh yeah, cool. I just I just got my training. This is amazing. I don't want anything else. I don't want to talk to anyone. Yeah, and I'm recalling those times when I've been studying under my teacher, and when I just started, like with the first 3 or 5 years, I was like ears open and try to listen to every single word he says, try to see every single little bit of the demonstration he gives, like all this no contact, manipulation, all this stuff. Yeah, I like that so much. But after a while, after about 5 years maybe, it started being annoying because when you don't practice things on your own, you're very interested to watch, not to watch, to watch and to listen, like the demonstration, not the practice part, but the part that goes after the practice, like the explanation, demonstration. Like in my videos, it's also the same. Like the first part where I actually do the practice is the main part, and when I start talking, that's like you can just skip it. Yeah, but probably many of you are watching this part exactly when I start talking because at least something can be understood in that case. Because when you just watch what I do, it might not be that clear what's going on in there. So it's all the matter of practice. If you do this practice or any other practice, like for instance Aikido or some Tai Chi, some inner martial arts or Qigong or whatever, even sports, yeah, when you have this practical experience and when you see something in your own body, you can see the same exact thing in someone else's body. And that's the general principle of the perception. So we can only see in others what is working within inside our own selves. And if we see in someone else something that you don't have in your very own body, that you just basically don't see it, that's the first thing. And the second thing, you just barely understand what's going on, literally don't understand anything. So yeah, on one hand, explanations are good in terms of you can at least hear about the fact that somewhat a different mechanism from those that are available to you at the moment exists out there, and you may have seen those mechanisms in Chinese masters, for instance, or whatever. And if you see something similar and then you listen to the explanations, it might help you build in some picture, envisioning how this works. Later on, it would be really hard work to get rid of this envisioning. That's a very interesting thing how the life goes. Like first we need to build those envisionings, and then we need to get rid of them. And getting rid of them is much more difficult than building those envisions. That's very interesting. Anyway, I have a single technical bit for today to share. So I'm trying to, like I'm practicing for the whole week, living my life for the whole week, and then I try to summarize things and just to give this very useful bits that I come up with, because even the useful bits might be too vague due to not being really understandable. So that my sharing of the path and following the practice I'm doing, so that makes at least a little sense to you. Yeah, I try to extract the very gist of it, so that's my effort. So, the last video on the channel was called the pivot point in my Qigong practice or something. So, I finally realized how the Hunyuan Taiji and Hunyuan Chen Taiji is done. And yeah, when I just, it's not the matter of an understanding, that's the matter of sort of an inner sense. And when you get in that inner sense, you can safely get rid of that. And that's very interesting because there are lots of redundant things. I don't say that that is redundant, like in general, that's just redundant for me. So there are many things that might be redundant in our lives, but before we clearly understand why exactly this particular thing is redundant, we cannot get rid of it. And that's the problem. So before getting rid of something, we need to explore it quite deeply, maybe at the level we've never been diving before. So that's quite important as well. So uh, it's all the matter of focus between the heart and the lower dantian or lower abdomen. And these two focuses are two vastly different approaches, very, very different approaches towards one's life, fulfilling one's life's goal, understanding those goals, fulfilling those goals, the way how you envision the path on earth, uh, like generally, are you trying to develop something in here, or you observe this as a prison you try to escape from? So all these different type of things are all like they all depend on whether you focus on heart or focus on lower abdomen. So that's the basic kind of statement, I would say. So another important and very interesting thing that the uprising flow of chi, which goes from bottom to like from the ground to the very heavens, as well as down uh, falling flow, which goes from heaven to earth. So they existed at the same time. But the nature of the human body is that we can, so one of them should be constant, another should be variable. And depending on which of the flows we take as a constant and which of the flows we take as a variable, it defines the overall practice in literally everything. So I'd like to talk a little bit about this principle today because it's like good for general understanding. So with the Chan Taiji and with most martial arts that like emphasize the lower abdomen, the Dantian, this is the matter of having the uprising flow as a constant. So I just said it, and that's it. They say like top head is connected to heaven, the tailbone is connected to ground, and basically within this um, within this 2 points happens all the work. So literally all this never-ending rotations. What they do, they just magnify the inner energy, like making it like maybe stronger, maybe tougher, maybe it makes it like um, more concrete to feel, I would say. So that's kind of the idea. And um, so it just like we have a pump, and the pump is generating more and more pressure, and that's how it works. So the uprising flow is stable, and this pump is kind of working, and that's the way how the all these channels where chi flows they get like improved, they become bigger, stronger, stuff like that. So that's the social path. That's the path towards social achievements, I would say. Well, at the very least, this kind of energy is something that can be later transformed, or don't really have to transform anything. This just happens naturally. It gets transformed to some social benefits, like being a teacher, or becoming rich, or another crap like that, which doesn't make sense in this life, at least to me at all. But that's how it works. That's how the nature of this stuff is happening. But the downside of this approach, and that's the downside for me, might not be the downside for you. I'm just talking for myself. That's just my very own research. So the downside for me is that this is the way to develop the outer world, potentially making it better, most likely making it worse, but worse, yeah. But yeah, generally, mm, it's about to do something more likely to the outer world. You may be training inside, but then the application, like like all this hip throws in judo and things like that. So you just change the world eventually, and that's the major direction of where the generated energy gets applied later on. So that's one part. And another part, the part of heart, which I've been talking about many times, and this entire walking Qigong set is dedicated to this part of heart. It's absolutely the opposite. So what it does, it says like um, the down grading flow for the down falling flow, it becomes a constant. So this means that I'm not trying to do something with my energy, literally. I just calm down the heart. I let the energy naturally sink into the dantian, and I don't care much about this. And what I do care about is uh, changing this, so this uprising flow becomes a variable. And the way it happens, so visually, I just try to show this from the side view. So if in Chen style and related things, it's like you set up this and this, and then you forget about it, and then you just do something internally, yeah. But in in the path of the heart, in the way of the heart, it's like on the contrary, you just leave the chi alone. But these 2 points becomes variable. So the top hat is like constantly stretching, and the tailbone is also constantly stretching. And that's not something that I'm kind of doing. That's something that just happens naturally. So if I just calm the heart down, the chi sinks down to Dantian, and then this uprising flow, it just naturally starts pulling me to the heaven and to the earth. And that's the way how one can not develop the life on earth, but escape from the life on earth. It's not in terms of life on earth is bad, but like me personally, I've been saying this many times. I envision the life here on earth like a prison. So the body is like a cage, and trying to figure out how it works in order to find the escape. Yeah, and not to reborn hundreds of times, and you every single next life you live over and over again the same exact thing, the same exact mistakes, same exact people. This is getting so annoying. So I don't know, like I'm just sick and tired of this, to be very honest. And for me, this is not just something I'm believing. That's something I sense. I wish I could not sense that, but I do sense that. That's the problem for me. So my very goal is just to try to get out of here and never come back. And hence the so-called spiritual practices. Yeah, that is so funny. They call spiritual. Yeah, so just trying to kind of escape from the prison. Yeah, but it's not the matter of prison holding you here. It's not the prison is not guilty. You are guilty because you did something that puts you into this prison. So it's all about to work out my very own self, not do something with the prison, not try to make it more comfortable, but try to do something with my very own self. That's the major goal. And um, generally, like we talk about this from the perspective of physical motion, how this works. So with a calm heart, with a chi sinking to Dantian, yeah, we have this process of like variable uprising flow, and we want to somehow direct this to somehow direct this flow in order to make it like point into one single point. It makes it more efficient. It just works better. So for this sake, I've changed one of the steps. So I got rid of this step, which is more like the principle of Chantai-Ji. So it's more like the rotation of Dantian still. Yeah. So I replaced this with a form from Bhagavajan, from Yanshan Bhagavajan Negu, and the practice that I've been doing for 15 plus years. And there is no such step in the walking Qigong. So you may think of this as my own invention, and I'm not trying to gift you this or something. So I don't even know if I keep it myself or not for my own practice. Probably I do. Today I think I do. Tomorrow I may change my mind. I don't know. I just want to show you the principles behind this step. So this is the step. Um, to me, this is like the essence of everything that has been done within the walking Qigong before. Because literally, what is the walking Qigong all about? So it's much about uh, free up channels in legs. And why is that needed? You might wonder. Yeah. So when you do this Chen Tai Chi stuff, like practice, legs are more like tanks of water or tanks of chi, you might want it. And you just move inside your legs quite nicely. So something like this happens. So you may just like float within the hip joints. So it's literally like floating inside. Yeah, but um, this is more like the yin channels are working, so that it feels like a big tank of water. But the so yin channels are heel, yang channels are toe. So toes. So if I just step on toes, yeah, and stretch, this is something that helps to improve this very variable power, the uprising flow of chi. So um, that's why in Bhagavatam, this tiny blue step, like step uh, step forwards, okay, like into the toe, or in the walking Qigong, this step where the variation of this step with an idea to focus on no weight is the rare lack. So this is the very like step to cultivate this uprising power within the backward central meridian, which goes from the spine and from the top head goes upwards. Uh, so in this in this exercise, so in originally in Bhagavatam, this is done like I just do the circle walking and um, I just do this form shape like this. Yeah, but it just gets a little bit distracted uh, because the circle walk in itself, it's like it's slightly mm, it prevents the circle walking and creates the spin that prevents chi from sinking to dantian. That's a bit of a problem, and that's the downside of Bhagavatam. And yet Bhagavatam is like more like martial arts in terms of interacting with the outer world rather than inner practice. And for that sake, yeah, it's like it's not super fantastic for exactly this matter of calm the heart down. But I thought that maybe if I just take this very principle, which is super representative, so I start with the basically the belt meridian. It's not exactly belt meridian, but I start from bottom, and then this goes like this big circle. And when it comes to the point where it stucks, it then goes even further, and then this big circle, and then just going back to Zhangyan. So we come back like so. So this is the manifestation of uh, like what would be the eventual effort. I think of this as like all the steps, all the stuff. So first, just prepare legs to make sure that um, the tailbone may get stretched down below, but none of those steps exist in walking Qigong. Work out the this uprising stuff. Well, maybe apart from some Bagua steps and this step, but not as much. So I thought that yeah, maybe as in this one, bearing in mind the very goal that I have, because again, it's not me serving the practice, it's practice serving me. Because it's like the toolbox. You're taking tools out of the box in order to get the job done. So if you understand your job that you need to get done, you exactly know what is that and how that should be handled. You know what exact tools you need to use for that sake, right? And when you know that, you just pick up those tools. If you don't have enough tools, you may take some tools from the other toolbox. So for me, it's not about sticking to the very traditional thing, which might not be super efficient for me, but exactly to come up with my very own toolbox. So I'm adding this tool into my toolbox, and this is how it goes. this is how it goes. So the way how this form works, it helps to deal with the biggest source of tension in human body that prevents us from literally like rising to heavens. And mm, usually it's like this. So why this happens? It happens because the thoughts are going like so, and this sort of thoughts are very like heavy, and hence the body resists and body makes ugly shape like so. Yeah, so two ways how to get rid of this kind of lifestyle. Yeah, so first, the first problem is that legs resist. The legs resist, so the chi cannot go down. So the first thing to do is to free out the legs, and when the legs are free, then chi like goes through your body and to the very ground, and then it kind of reflects from the ground backwards and starts rising. And here it's very important to work out this part of the body, and the spiral movement helps sort of release it, and this eventually makes me um, freeing up this part, and chi starts flowing from the top head to the very heaven, and I start being like uh, tall and very thin and very tall. Yeah, so that's how it works. So yeah, guys, that was the technical bit. Um, Essentially, the way of heart is developing this kind of thing. So that's why the Buddhist saints and other any other saints, they are not about being strong in the center and trying to throw everyone. They are about being connected to heaven and earth and being able to no longer reborn in this life and essentially become a heavenly being. Or if they were heavenly beings before falling down to earth, just get back home, but renovated. Okay, this is it from my side. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one. Until then, and cheers.